The first thing I did here was to fold my fabric into two. Thereafter, I put my tape rule 1.5 inches above, which I'm going to use for my elastic band. Then I went ahead to mark my hip measurements, which I used 9 inches here. Then I also marked my crotch depth measurement. For my crotch depth measurement, it is my hips divided by 4 plus 2 inches. Hip measurement divided by 4 plus 2 inches. That's your crotch depth measurement. Then I went ahead to mark my thigh measurement. After the crotch is the thigh measurement, and that is 2 inches after the thigh measurement. Then I marked the where my trouser length plus 2 inches. So what I'm doing here is just to bring out the lines and to show you properly. So once we are done with that, I went ahead to impute other measurements. My hip measurement divided by 4 plus 1 inch for sewing allowance is what I put there. Then I also transferred that same measurement to my hip measurement, then my crotch depth measurement. I just connected everything together. So the next thing is to get my crotch extension measurement, which is the measurement that I have there. That's the one that I've imputed, divided by 4. Here, after dividing I had 2.5 inches. 2.5 inches is what I used for my own crotch extension. The spot where I have my crotch depth measurement and crotch extension, I'll measure what I have there, then I'll mark the midpoint. That midpoint is what I will use to get the other measurements, especially my thigh measurement. Now for my thigh measurement, I would have measured it on my clients. Then whatever it is I have on the midpoint, I will divide my thigh measurement across the two parts, because since I have the midpoint, if my thigh measurement is say like 14 and I have to get 7 I will mark 7 inches from the midpoint to the back, then 7 inches from the midpoint to the front. So I'll no longer be getting my measurement from the tip where I was getting it initially. No, henceforth my measurement will now come from the midpoint, so that it will be well divided. And also because this trouser will not be one-sided, so it will be equal on both ends. So the next thing I went to do here is to get my knee measurement, and also to get the measurement that I will use. And also at this point, I will divide the measurement across. So if my knee measurement, the circumference of my knee is say like 10, I'll get 5 inches to the front, then 5 inches to the back. Do you understand what I'm saying? So then I also get the circumference that I will use at my ankle. Now because this is a palazzo, it's not going to be very fitted, but you can use any circumference measurement that you want. I don't want mine to be too big, so I just reduced it more than what I would have used. I think I used 10 inches here. I used 10 inches. So I measured 5 to the front and 5 to the back, and that was how I was able to get the circumference. And you will also be following this midpoint that we drew from the crotch line. That is what the measurement that you are going to use, that same midpoint. Once I'm done connecting all the lines together, on the waist measurement, I went down by 1 inch. 1 inch, then I cut everything. To cut the back piece, I'm going to make sure that the back piece is at least 2 inches longer than the front piece. so that this will give me the allowance of going up by 2 inches. I'll go up by 2 inches, then draw a slant line from there, and that is because the measurement of our back piece is not always the same as that of the front piece. Then once I'm done marking that 2 inches on the crotch extension, I also go down, I also measure 2 inches so that to give it enough allowance and space. After marking 2 inches there, then I can reduce the measurement to like 1 inch. Then I'll connect everything together. So I used 2 inches at the crotch depth, then for the other places I used 1 inch. So once I'm done with that, I'll also impute 1 inch each on both sides of the trouser. For the both sides of the trouser, I'm going to use 1 inch, as you can see me do 1 inch. The next is to cut the pockets of the trouser. For the measurement of the pockets, it is 14 inches by 10 inches, 14 inches by width and 10 inches by length. So just look at what I'm going to do here. I'm going to insert the pocket with the main trouser, and the main, we are using the front piece of the trouser here, not the back piece. So I'm going to mark 2 inches, 2 inches by 7 inches on the trouser, 2 inches by 7 inches on the trouser. I also transfer that same measurement to the pocket, then I will sew it on my sewing machine. I'll first cut it off, then sew it on my sewing machine. Now to join the trouser, you are going to take one back piece and one front piece. You join it by the sides, both sides. Then you also join it by the crotch.